Previously on They See Me Rollin'.
Can you bring people back?
I can't, but I do know someone who can. Although he's a real dick.
My ears are burning.
You have interfered for the last time.
You will serve me, you wretch!
You just see what looks like a pathetic old elf waving his arms and gesticulating wildly.
Bast flips him the double bird.
The world around you disappears, and you're inside a bright white room. Think like the Apple commercials. As soon as you grab that bow, all the other bows disappear.
Fuck, cool.
And
I will name you the Party Splitter.
you look at the direction of the laughter, and in front of you is another god.
Coolers.
That was a clap.
Cool.
Beautiful, beautiful.
That was. I heard it, and it brought warmth to my heart. Welcome back
That's not where I thought you were going to go.
to They See Me Rollin'. Last we left off, you guys had just entered the Big Apple White Room. In front of you
The Big Apple.
is a goddess. Are we going to add the gender to it, or do you want to just be a god?
I'm going straight up goddess on this one.
Yes.
Just to let everyone know, this is Selah Scott.
Hey.
She is part of the band Automatic Eden, but we'll talk more about that later. Thank you for joining us, Selah.
Thank you for having me.
It's our Ritz-Carlton pleasure.
All right. Well, before you see the goddess, Astriel. She's tall and she's very elfin. She has long, flowing hair, red with a white streak, pointed ears, long tapered fingers with very long claw-like nails. She stands holding a very elaborately carved sort of scepter stick with a globe at the top that glows a sort of pulsing purple color, as do her eyes. She leans against the stick as if she has some mobility issues, but she regards you all intently. And who have we here?
Hey.
Sup? I am Jelly Butter, Sorcerer Supreme of the Nightbirds. These are my associates.
I'm Skumk, Sorcerer Supreme of the Nightbirds.
A very unruly little band.
Coen bows deeply and says, I am Coen Greyfield.
Lord, oh. Really
Paladin.
pumping ourselves up with titles this time.
Of Bast. Have you met Bast? Isn't she magnificent?
Bast. That's a name I haven't heard in some time. I think the person you're referring to, I know, is Lulth. But welcome, travelers. I wasn't expecting company, but now that you're here, it's been a while since anybody's been around. So it's nice to see a few faces, if not familiar faces at all.
I believe you're forgetting me.
Oh, great.
Oh, yeah, this is
some jerk off that follows
She
us
knows
around.
who I am, you idiot.
this is our valet boy. He carries our bags.
God damn it.
How did I know? I had a feeling. I just had that feeling. I was starting to relax. I was unwinding after a very long day. I had just poured a glass of wine. And all of a sudden, there's this disturbance, and lo and behold, here you are.
Pleasure to see you, too.
What do you want?
That's what they want. I was made to come with them because of Lulth.
Lulth.
Hold on one second. All right, team huddle. All right, so guys.
Is Selvetarm in this team huddle?
No, he's
I
not
think he
part of
pops
the
up
team.
and then we shove him out. So, guys, we kind of busted in here without a game plan. We kind of want her to go to sleep for forever, maybe?
Yeah. Have you got any hot cocoa on you? by any chance?
I was kind of counting on you for the milk. Like, I was going to provide the
sure.
bedtime story. You were going to provide the milk, and Skumk was going to be really warm and snuggly. But, so, okay, whenever I give you the
loving this
signal,
plan.
let's say asparagus, okay? We bust out that game plan. Until then, let's fish around, see if we can get any information.
Sounds like a
Okay.
plan.
I have some
alright.
asparagus, if that helps.
It's
It does
not
not.
well known
All
for
right.
its sleeping properties.
All right, hands in. 1, 2, 3, go Nightbirds.
You didn't tell us what to
I'm
say.
growing impatient. I wasn't expecting visitors, and the hour is getting late. If we could wrap this thing up, I'm really enjoying my
What?
alone time.
If anyone knows the value of alone time, it is me. So I will do my best to not waste your precious time.
And the value of going to sleep. I wink at everybody individually in the room.
I don't understand what you're doing with your face right now. But so we are sort of like Patrick Swayze in this whole deal with our bodies right now. We're not supposed to be here in this dimension. And we're trying to figure a way back, mainly so we can, get our original bodies back because, you just take my word for it, we were some really swole, hot, hard bodies back where we were. Just exquisite.
Me especially.
I have
That's
the
up for
sense that
debate.
your current physical form is not an accurate representation of your souls.
That's exactly right.
That is correct. So we want to get back so we can have our original bodies back and, of course, be home. But really, first on the docket is so that we can punch Eliana in the face.
Yeah,
Like, as
we believe
hard as
you've
we
met
can.
her.
Well, I had a feeling that name was going to come up as well. I've heard a thing or two about what's been going on lately. For the longest time, it was my direct intention to stop her and end her on her course, but these days, I just don't know if I have the energy anymore, quite honestly. Everything I do seems to get hijacked and corrupted and turned around. I am tired of elves and elvish agendas. I am tired of humans. I am tired of everybody who's gotten in the way of me trying to do the basic right thing, including Aliana. And you know what? Her power has grown. Maybe it's just her time. I don't know anymore that I really have the energy or the resources to pursue it. So if you want me to make you a nice little cute charm to help propel you back into your dimension of origin, maybe I can help you out with that. But as far as taking on the evils of our known universe, like I said, it's been a long day.
Can we put a pin in that charm for a second? But what exactly is your deal, Astral? What are you god of?
I am a god of the entire elvish realm. I began as an elf myself, but was promoted by my followers to god status.
That's nice.
I have
Does that come with a nice golden handshake?
It came with nothing.
I-
It came with basically being a pawn in everybody's game. Everyone who initially swore allegiance to me followed nothing what I had to say, took zero of my advice, ran around and did their own thing. That includes you, Selvetarm. And includes Faerun, includes Boris, includes everybody that I worked with along the way.
Gilbert?
I've spent most of my time hiding in the mountains, meditating, trying to put all of this behind me.
I feel where you're coming from. I was recruited by an organization that had goals that I weren't necessarily down with, but I was kind of forced to go along with it, and
They were
just
poorly
been kind
defined in the first place.
I've been kind of being propelled along by everyone else's machinations for a while at this point, and I really want to take my own life by the reins at this right now. So I can totally sympathize with where you're coming from right now.
Have you thought of taking up vengeance as a cause?
Vengeance. It's a complicated subject. My people have been plagued for so many centuries by the bloodiest of wars, brother against brother. I've almost lost my taste for vengeance, but I hate to see what's happened. We did our best when we when we decided to skip to another dimension and ultimately put ourselves into a slumber so that we could protect what little life there was left in Riel, that was the final push. That was the big push to really make things right in the universe. And then once Aliana awoke me, I thought, well, you know what? She seems like she could be a really promising protege. I would put some weight behind this. I could train her. She was so bright. She was so intuitive. She was so interested. But little did I know she was even worse than Selvetarm in selfishness.
Worse. That's an objective term.
Worse.
Shut up, Selvetarm.
I can promise you one thing. There is nothing that interests me less than gaining power to rule other people or, just kind of beef up my own stock in the world. I just kind of want to put all this adventure jazz behind me and take a really long nap somewhere because I'm pretty tired of it myself.
Yeah, really tired.
Napping.
Wow. I just realized I said objective when I meant subjective, silly me.
What?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
noticed that, but I wasn't going to say anything.
Well, I
We were trying to
appreciate
do the
your-
right thing and just kind of, be nice for once, but don't suppose you'd know anything about that. I do have some questions. So everyone keeps talking about like some big war that went on a ways back that ended in all the elves migrating over to Riel and all of you guys being put to sleep. What was up with that whole thing? Because I don't really have a lot of details.
Yes, well, I suppose we could go over that. All of a sudden, a chair materializes next to her, and a large hookah sort of device. When she begins smoking from this hookah, she kicks back, takes her shoes off. And
Does it have
ponders.
like multiple like?
Nope.
Can I get in on this?
She tokes on her hookah for a second, staring off into the middle distance.
Does she do some sick vape tricks?
If you'd like me to take you through it, I suppose we can go there. Oh, the wars. Essentially, you can think of me as being the eldest sibling of this wildly dysfunctional family. I was the first of the elders. No elf had ever been born with the kind of power that I had to shape reality. And that's why I was raised to the level of a god like my people. My people had incredible technology when humans were scribbling on cave walls. We were building all kinds of castles, cities. We had a real society, but my people were flawed. They'd grow jealous of each other and fight against each other. They would get into bloody battles that would last them for centuries. I ended up being torn between this side, this faction. I didn't know what to do with them. I had to disappear and hide away for a while and just watch them battle it out. There was a brief renaissance that happened. There was an elf named Boris, also an elder. I recognized his gifts. I took him on, and he brought a lot to our people. He had always been raised to believe that the Forest Kingdom was the sole bearer of elven culture, and of course it would make sense for them to war with the oceans and the mountains. But he decided that he could bring the culture together by entertaining everyone. He could unite them in distraction, and together they could create a new culture. And
That
this
sounds
worked.
like a good way to permanently solve problems.
Well, it seemed like it. I'll tell you what, it was a lot of fun. We had festivals, we had races, we had, mock battles where everyone could show their skills, and many elves were happily inclined to share, but others weren't. The races began arguing again, and the ones that were seen as lesser beings, well, they weren't wanted by the other ones. No matter what we did, our people would corrupt it. Then, of course, Selvetarm comes along, and Lulth. They took very different approaches. Selvetarm took his mantle of elder as though it were a crown. He would subjugate the lesser races of Faerun. He took joy in making them suffer waking nightmares. He would have them hallucinate. It would drive them to madness.
You would have to admit it was fun.
I
For
smacked
you.
Selvetarm over the back of the head.
Ow!
Thank you. Well, he's powerless now, absolutely weak and devoid of any power, as I can tell. Back in the day, he had a very special type of arcane magic that would let him travel to different planes very easily, and so stopping him was nearly impossible, back when he was a real man. No. Lolth, of course, was the opposite. Lolth and I tried to work together, the goddess you know as Bastet. She was a little bit of a people pleaser, but, at the end of the day, her heart was in the right place. But
She's
the
the
elves
greatest.
themselves chose Selvetarm's policy. And under him, they conquered Faerun and they subjugated all the other races.
And we did a damn good job of it, too.
You ruined our world.
So this is all your fault, Selvetarm?
I wouldn't call it faults. After all, we did end up losing it because of people like Astriel and Lolth. They ruined everything.
It was directly Selvetarm's fault. But it really was the end. It was the end of Faerun. It destroyed everything. And humans had to cower under all of this. They were the ones that possibly suffered the most. The elves had the upper hand because they had a longer lifespan. But then once the humans banded with the dwarves, the gnomes, the halflings, the tieflings, the orcs, they put up a good fight. So
What about
Selvetarm's
goblins?
influence, it weakened.
Goblins. Goblins couldn't do shit back then. You can barely do anything now.
Oh, wow.
They kicked your ass enough that Selvetarm finally agreed to create a portal large enough to bring many, many of us over into the new world.
And look how well that turned out.
Things went from bad to worse. What we found when we got there was a dying planet with barely any life. And within a few short years, the best we could hope for was extinction by starvation. And so that's when we elders convened and decided that we would build a sleeping chamber for each of us and enter a hibernation that would allow us to focus our energy on keeping Riel alive. And all of that was going just fine until Aliana came and woke us up.
Big problem seems to be that a lot of people hoarding power, a few people hoarding power for themselves. So, how about this? You do us a favor. You help get us back to our place. We take care of Aliana. Then the elders are free to disappear, as I'm sure you do. And we just hit the reset button on this whole thing. No more elders, no more gods, no more anything, and we just let the common people figure it all out for themselves.
What do you think she can do for you? Do you think she can return you back?
She can probably do a whole hell of a lot more than you can right now.
Yeah.
How do you know
Well-
I can't? Maybe I can. Sure, maybe I can. You don't know me.
I do know you. And I know that I'm the only one who is able to get us to Riel, so I'm the only one who would be able to bring them back. Well, I was until Bastet pulled this bullshit on me.
All right, fine. That's probably accurate, but the key word is was. Used to have that kind of power. What are you now? Just slowing everybody down.
Amen, sister.
I've been enjoying my time free from all of these elvish war concerns. I wasn't expecting to be woken up, but now that I am, well, I like being awake. I'm enjoying my life. I think I might finally write that true crime novel I've been thinking about doing for a while. It's a whole new world. I might just consider myself in retirement and not trouble myself with any of this anymore. Because no matter what I do, everybody else keeps cocking it up.
Oh, goddess. If you were to go back to sleep, you could focus your powers on keeping Riel whole.
Oh, what has Riel done for me lately?
That is a good question.
If you let Riel die, we all die. That's the one thing that I agreed to, was keeping our people alive, so we could return to Faerun and conquer it, like we always were destined to do. Our destiny is not to sit here and die off.
I like everything about that except for the conquering part.
I've gotten the short end of the stick for the majority of my life. people never seem to fail to disappoint me.
It's always about you, isn't it, Jelly?
Yeah, I mean, I am the star of this show. I'm trying to empathize by comparing my situation to another person's. Give me a second, all right?
Go for it.
All right. But despite that, I don't want to see everyone die. And from what I hear, your Riel was a temporary solution to a much bigger problem, and that Band-Aid is coming off real quick. Riel's not looking so hot. So, if you help us clear out Eliana from Faerun, we could maybe get your people over back to Faerun and take care of get all the other elders to behave themselves, or at least go back to sleep, so that we don't have to deal with these kind of wars anymore, and just let things run their natural course without any outside influence.
Yeah.
Like, for once.
I for once agree with Jelly. Sure, there would be a lot of wars, but eventually we would sort out an equilibrium, and we would be able to do it. We would be able to do it ourselves.
You could probably wake up at some point.
You know, every couple of years or every few millennia, depending on how you're counting, somebody comes along who's sort of a protege of sorts. I've had a few. Aliana was the most recent one. Before that, Lulth. Before that, Faerun. And you know what? I guess I'm just a sucker for it, because when I hear somebody espousing these values and bringing hope again, God damn it kind of gets me every time. All right. I'll help you. But there's a catch, and this is a catch for all of us. You're not going to be able to do it alone. We're going to have to restore a little bit of Selvetarm's power.
I kind of look at
fine.
Selvetarm and think of all the times I've, slapped him over the head and picked him up and put him over the saddle, and I kind of tug on my collar a little bit.
No one loves to see him be disparaged more than me, believe me, but I have been around this block, and I know the kind of firepower that you're going to need to make this happen, so...
Are you sure this is a good idea? Is what I'm saying.
It's not a good idea, but it's the only idea that might work.
It's the only idea we have.
Selvetarm cracks his knuckles. I am ready.
Don't get too excited. You're only
Yeah.
getting an iota of what you had before, so you can't get unruly or out of bounds.
Damn it.
Oh, it pains me to do this. She begins moving the scepter in a slow circle, and it starts to radiate that violet color that shoots up into the air and comes down in an umbrella-like dome, covering everyone and then honing in on Selvetar. It pulses briefly over his body and then evaporates.
Mama! Yes!
Jesus.
And with this, Selvetarm attempts to create a fireball, and all it is just a puff of smoke.
Oh, screw that. That's not going to happen.
Well, shit.
You asshole! You were gonna fireball me.
No, I was just testing.
I might test out my new bow on your face.
I would highly recommend keeping him in check. He has a very minimal amount of his former power, but it does give him some, and you know he's inclined to use it for the wrong reasons.
Does it give him spider powers?
No,
Ooh, that's
it
a
does
good idea.
not. Absolutely does
Oh.
not.
I attempt to make a spider, and I just make a small fire ant.
That's debatable. Here's the thing. If I see a real improvement in him, if I see some growth, if I see somebody playing for the right team, there's a chance that some power might be granted more. Maybe. Possibly.
I've only ever played for the right team. Our team.
I'll see how that looks in action when it's not just talk.
I attempt to create an easy chair for me to lounge in, and instead I just create a wooden stool. I sit down and plant my face in my hands, kind of bummed.
Beginnings of a plan are forming here. I'm all about it, but you mentioned a charm to help us stop.
Yeah, we had a pin in that.
Taking that pin out.
Yeah, taking the pin out.
Putting it in my pocket.
Well, I'm afraid Selvetarm called my bluff a little bit on that one. I don't at this moment have the power to transport you directly. However, if things go better, if I regain some of my strength and Selvetarm uses his for the right reasons, there's a chance that I might be able to pull that off. Once you've held up your end of the bargain.
It's not out of our way.
I mean, we've gotten this far, sort of making vague ideas of plans, and we're still alive. So let's hope that works out today.
You've won me over with your youthful enthusiasm and your good-heartedness. It's made me rethink my stance on some things. I've given you a half-cocked weapon with him, so use him wisely.
Seems like the main problem has been as far as like people that think they're special and like chosen ones and all that, but let me tell you, we are as ordinary comes. Like, we kind of got in this whole situation by accident. So
You know, it's kind of refreshing to me to hear you say that, because I'm tired of every damn elf in the known universe thinking they're the one, they're the special one, they're the chosen one. Rah, rah, rah. No, I like your refreshing honesty. It appeals.
Oh yeah, there's very little that's special about me other than my amazing dress sense and my my charming wit. But beyond
and those
that,
muscles.
you know,
I mean, come on.
These muscles are pretty great, but unfortunately I can't take too much credit for them.
Yeah, I don't know the story on how you guys got these bodies, and I'm really not going to ask, but, you know, as long as they're functional.
One thing I'm worried about, so, like, it seems we died way back in Faerun, and then we got these new bodies, and our whole goal is to leave these bodies and go back to Faerun, but, our bodies back home are kind of trashed and dead right now. So I'm wondering how that's all going to shake out whenever we pop back through.
That's something that I'm afraid I can't reveal the answer to at this point.
Damn you,
Stan. You don't know. None of us knows. If I send them over, they could just end up bruised and beaten, and then they'll suffer the killing blow. At least that'll have been worthwhile. And by the way, they're all a bunch of liars. These three, they're just as horrible as anyone else. Or at least what people define horrible. I actually kind of admire what they've done. That one ate a human being. Just swallowed him whole. As a frog.
To be fair, that human being was actively trying to commit genocide.
Not that one person.
He didn't. It wasn't like I did it because I was hungry, if that makes it any better.
And then that one, he murdered a child.
Yeah, I will cop to that, but it was also an accident. Look, Selvetarm, accidents happen. That's what being human is about. You gods can't come in and mess with us and not allow us to have accidents and make mistakes. That's how we learn. It's how we live.
And have you learned?
Yes, I believe I have.
Listen, Coen is the softest marshmallow boy that I've ever met. He really took that hard. And I'm sure he'll endeavor not to do anything like that again.
It's a promise.
Fortunately, I don't need to learn such lessons because I've never done anything wrong in my entire life.
Oh, goodness, where would we start?
I've never done anything that's not wrong, so in that way, it makes me always right.
I can't argue with his logic. It's impossible.
Real philosopher, Skumk.
So, as you see, you're putting your faith on these imperfect beings, that they might be able to restore God knows what, and to fight Aliana. Aliana, who's mastered the powers that all of us had. She was able by herself to travel across realms. Only I was able to do that. How could she do this? I personally believe we should go and join her. She figured it out.
She's kind of a genocidal asshole, so no. Also, we're very imperfect, but that's kind of part of being alive. We sort of embrace it. Otherwise, whenever you're trying to force people to be perfect, bad things tend to happen. Like that fucking, that town we're in that was built on top of that goblin swamp. You wanted a nice, perfect little neighborhood full of humans and all that jazz, and to do that, you had to squash a bunch of goblins. Bad things happen whenever you try to be perfect.
Selvetarm is showing a very elvish value right now in the pursuit of perfection. That's what caused all of these wars, race against race, year after year after year, these bloody battles to prove who was the best, who was the purest. This is the kind of aesthetic that I don't believe in. So although I really told myself I was over believing in anyone again, damn it, I'm going to give it another shot. I like this ragtag team of taxidermy experiments and their values. I think it's interesting. I'm going with it.
At times like these, I like to remember how the great butter churn in the sky crafted the universe. It's by spoiling milk and churning it all together. It took an imperfect thing to create the universe.
And culture.
Exactly. Which is caused by the decaying of cells. By imperfectness.
Are those song lyrics?
How could the cells be decaying if they were the first thing in the universe?
Listen, that's the whole, if the butter churner could create a slab of butter so big that even she couldn't lift kind of a situation. Oh, I'm sure you've heard of her being a celestial being yourself. The great butter churn in the sky. She was the one that created the entire universe in her butter churn.
Astriel, just play along. It's easier.
I'm on the board of interdimensional deities, and I don't recall that being a dues-paying member.
Well, I don't imagine she would be, since she's, in charge of everything. She crafted the universe itself.
Uh-huh. Okay. Lower-level creationist theory. I see. Okay. Well, that's cute.
I don't like... I don't like how everyone just dismisses Jelly's entire culture, just right up...
It's not a thing. It's not a thing.
I love it.
I was born to be the high priestess of the Church of Butter. Okay.
You know what? To each their own.
Well, whenever the universe eventually spoils and is turned into mayonnaise, and all souls go back to the butter churner, we'll see who's right.
If you shook the universe really vigorously, would it turn into whipped cream?
That's the thing. That's how Ragnarok happens. You see, the great butter churner's brother will rise out of the sea where she slew him and whip the entire universe into whipped cream, and that's how the end of the world happens.
How does the universe feel about being sautéed?
Well, it's really, think of it less as a destruction and more of a new beginning. We no longer will live in a universe made of butter, but of whipped cream, and so a new world will be born out of it.
Could you use the universe to season a pan?
Probably. We're getting into some, real heady stuff. This is, deep theology. Priests have been debating that for centuries.
It's very interesting to me. I mean, what kind of life form would name their galaxy after a cow secretion? I don't know, but
I have a question.
Who are we to challenge the great wisdom of the butter churner?
Do we keep the universe in the fridge or in the pantry?
Well, that's the delicate balance that the butter churner has to keep at all times. Is it has to maintain a good chilled temperature, but it can't be too cold. Otherwise, it'll freeze, and the entire universe will be thrown into eternal winter.
Well, isn't the universe zero, absolute zero in space? I mean, it's very cold up there.
Nah, there's cosmic background.
You're thinking too small, Selvetarm. So that universe is only just the space like outside the planet is only one small fraction of the entire slab of butter that is the universe.
Whoa.
Usually people don't have the balls to debate theology in front of an actual god. It's interesting. In a strange way, it even rallies me a little further to your cause.
Hey, well, listen, I have some pamphlets if you're interested. They're back in my old body, though, so that's one more reason to help us get back, so I can give those to you later.
If our power grows collectively, my power will grow. And there's a very good chance that we could make that happen for you.
Great. I do like double finger guns.
I give the double thumbs up.
My family always believed in the ancient goblin gods who were killed millennia ago. Did that happen?
The ancient goblin gods. Oh boy. That's...
I'm wondering if I was responsible for that.
You know, I feel like that sounds familiar. Somewhere I have a list of things that you're responsible for. I've been writing it down for about 7 millennia. And I have it. Yeah, it's back at the house. It was probably him. You know what? It times out. Yeah, on the timeline, probably him.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I have never had a very strong belief one way or another.
They weren't very powerful gods.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
There were a lot of gods running around back then. They got weeded out fairly quickly in the early days.
Yeah, well, it happens
Perhaps
to the
even
best
the great
of us.
butter churner in the sky was one of them.
That one, yeah, that was a folktale. Anyway, maybe we're getting a little off topic. What's
think
next
we
for you
are.
travelers? Where do we? What's the plan?
Well, I guess next on the docket is meet some of the other elders.
I want to meet Gilbert.
Gilbert. Yeah.
Gilbert. Oh, goodness, Gilbert. That'll be fun.
Wishy-washy Gilbert.
I liked him.
What was his deal?
Oh, he was brilliant in his magic, but so very stupid.
I have
Sounds
to.
like my kind of god.
I start sweating whenever you describe him. Just like, oh, God.
It physically hurts me to agree with anything Selvetarm says, but yeah, that's fairly accurate. Very powerful, very powerful. The fourth of the elders born, but easily manipulated. His heart was in the right place, but when the Elven War went down, he just kind of couldn't handle it. He just basically checked out and was ultimately useless.
I relate. I feel like Gilbert is I found a kindred spirit in Gilbert. Can't wait to meet him.
Well, perhaps we can visit him next. I have missed him.
He sounds nice. What's the deal with that bow and arrow?
Oh, you mean the party splitter? I don't know, but it's pretty sweet, right? I start like plucking the string like a rubber band, so that it makes like a gwong 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 sound. Hey, Lester, can I get a hit of that?
All right, just a couple.
Sweet. All right. Wait a minute.
All right, everyone can have one for the road.
Oh God! You just see like galaxies forming in Jelly's eyes. It's like the ending of 2001: A Space Odyssey. I grow old and then I'm reborn as a star child, and then I live my entire life and come back to this moment.
Well, Selvetarm attempts to make his own hookah, and all that comes out is a pipe on which he blows and bubbles come out.
Sweet.
Coen takes a puff and his mind goes completely blank. And,
Took a puff without
there's
even
there's-
asking for permission?
She just gave us permission.
He has permission.
Oh,
Everyone gets one for the road.
okay.
And there's no actual discernible difference between Coen with mind blank and regular Coen, so he's just kind of like, oh, okay, that was interesting.
I don't understand how hookahs work. Does that have water in the bottom or something?
Just consider it magical.
Well, I'm asking because if I'd rather just take a sip of that.
You just want to take a sip of dirty
sip-
bong water?
A sip of the bong water.
As you wish.
I love these moments. I love them. It's so. I love how straight edge you are, Ivan. Just,
It's like It's like that vine where he blows water out of the bong.
I thought you were gonna say the
Like-
vine where like that girl's vaping at the party and the guy just looks in the camera and just goes, "Wow."
Wow. Yeah, I blow water out of it and then drink it off
I
the
look-
floor.
I look at the camera. Wow. Millennial Squad.
Oh, there was something that we breezed over before and a question that I meant to answer.
A question about my bow.
Yeah, Jelly inquired about the bow. Yes, it's called the Party Splitter. Well, it came to me in a very
AKA,
special way. Now it's found its way to a sorcerer that's worthy of it. It is one of 3 celestial weapons, and it will help you on your way in ways that will be surprising, unexpected, but very powerful.
Sounds like my whole aesthetic in a nutshell. I will wield it proudly.
I wonder why I never got one of those weapons. In fact, none of us did.
I like fish around in my pocket and then like pull out a buy flag sticker and just stick it on the bow.
As like a grip.
Yes, I wind some tape with the colors of the buy flag around the handle grippy part.
The bow knows it's gone to who it belongs to.
Hell yeah. Oh, do you have any crackers?
God damn it.
This is a gluten-free household, and it's been lovely, but I really should get back to my meditation.
Are you gonna go to sleep? I still don't understand how sleeping figures into this.
I think sleeping is ultimately what's going to happen, yes. So I probably won't see you for a very, very long time. I'm going to have to trust implicitly.
Whenever I try to meditate, I always end up just falling asleep, so I think you'll be chill.
That's why you didn't become a cleric.
We will do our very best not to allow the universe to be destroyed.
Yeah, we'll try.
Well, it's been a pleasure as always, Astriel.
Yeah, we're not all buddy-buddy now that you just got a little power back. Don't get excited.
Perhaps one day I will earn the worship of all elves again.
I doubt that.
Let's hope not.
And even in the midst of my slumbers, I will be watching and assessing to see whether you're worthy of that honor. And my thoughts will be with you all on this journey.
And with that, the white room dissipates, and you're back outside the temple, and the door has disappeared.
I liked her.
Yeah, she was really cool. I wish she could come with us instead of bloody Selvetarm.
Yeah.
You know, I'm right here.
I'm very much aware.
Absolutely.
Hey, this is Stan Ferguson.
Hey, it's me, Jodley Doggle.
I'm Clark.
Hi, it's your favorite 30s communist folk singer, Hayden.
And with us today is our friend Sayla Scott from the band Automatic Eden.
Hey.
Am I saying that correctly?
That's correct.
That was amazing. You were great, Sailor.
Awesome, you guys. Really fun.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate your time. So, what can you tell us about your endeavors?
Plug yourself
Sure,
is what he's saying.
All right. My band is called Automatic Eden. It's Automatic with a K, and we're based in Los Angeles. It's we have a lot of different influences going on, but it's essentially a rock and roll project with some electronic elements. So feel free to visit us online, Automatic Eden with a K.
Can
Right
we
on.
like put one of Automatic Eden's songs right at the end of this episode? Just
You could actually, yeah. We could do that.
Do you have a particular one you want us to put?
I have exactly one that there's no licensing issues over, so I'll give you that one.
yay! We'll take
It's
that one.
upbeat.
All
It's fun.
That sounds like the best one.
So long as Spotify doesn't have an issue with it, then that's perfect.
Yeah. That's our one.
Licensing.
What's it called again?
The song is called Get Your Fame.
Nice.
Right on.
Just exactly what you're doing by being on a podcast.
There you go.
It worked for us. Look.
Yeah. We're just.
We are
We have the-
household names all across America and the world.
Yep, we have. Yep, we are beloved by millions.
Awesome. Well, I love the show. I think it's so creative. You guys have an awesome,
thanks.
awesome podcast.
Thank you. Other than that, please check out our Facebook group, which is They See Me Rollin', our Facebook website, They See Me Rollin'. Chat with Hayden over at TSMRcast on Twitter. And
Stan, you lied. We don't
I
have
think
a Facebook website. I mean,
We
we don't have a
We'd
They See Me
we'd be
Rolling
rich
website.
if we did.
all right, eat all the dicks. All right.
I'm working
Oh,
on
dude.
it, Stan. Jesus,
All
give
of
me
us?
some
And-
time.
Oh shit! Do we have a review that we have a song for?
Oh,
I don't
God,
think
hope
we
not.
do.
I know we got 2 new reviews, and we just put out an ask as to who they were so we could get a song. So Hayden is not prepared with a song, so we will not do the song.
Thank Christ, I don't want to do this stupid segment while an actual musician is here.
I heard the last song. I thought it was great.
Oh, thank you.
I want a song about Dusty
Hayden's songs are
Volpines.
some of my favorite things in the world. That one you did for James.
Oh, yes. It really encapsulates our soon-to-be relationship that we have with each other.
All right. Well, thanks again for listening. Thank you again, Selah, for joining us. And
Thank you guys.
otherwise, y'all have a great day.
Yep. That's
Wild
how we end
Texas
every
Bad
episode.
accent.
Y'all come back now. You hear?
Bless your heart.
No, don't say that. That's very insulting.
That's an insult. Yeah.
Hayden, say your thing.
Fly on, you beautiful nightbirds, and thanks for all the space hookahs.
Ear trumpet audio. It happens every episode, but I'm always surprised.
This podcast was edited by Stan Ferguson. Our music was by Ron Lubavitch. You can find Ron at God's Little Peep Show on the internet. Our other internal music is by Hayden, and our story friend is Michael M. Rader. Thanks for listening. Good night.
Shot from the fold, shot from the game, shot from my home that's now a shivering mistake. Amazing how it all broke down. Amazing how I told you so won't help me now.
Shot by the times of darker days that came by cover of the apathetic phase. You wonder how you will break out. You wonder how to get us jumping up and down. You declare a new art. You declare a new art. Hey, hey, get your fame.
It's like the Vine where the guy's doing like a weird kicking thing, and then the guy's like, "You're gonna get in trouble," and then the police are there, and he's surrounded by the police.
It's like that Vine where that guy was like, "Hey, I've got a free taco," and then drops it on the ground.
It's like that Vine where he's holding a cat, and he's like, "I want to see my little boy."
Okay.
It's like that.
Let's
It's like
not
that Vine
talk
where that
about
guy
vines
slides down that
anymore,
ramp and
all
just
right?
says "Good evening."
This is just gonna keep going
This is not the
forever if you
Vine
don't
cast.
stop it.
This is
I
going
mean,
in
I
the
realize
outtakes.
that
It
I
is
am
now.
I am thousands of years old, but it's really just now hitting home to me how much older than everyone I am.
Yeah. Tell me about it, Astriel.